Return to Ridgefield, where the echoes creep, secrets in the void, where the cursed souls weep, 13 floors reborn. Hear the nexus tune, instilling steps, you'll seal your doom.
Ridgefield.
The nexus calls once more.
Time heals all wounds, they say. But in Ridgefield, time is a predator, circling back to devour the survivors. It twists and bends, revealing cracks where the past seeps through like blood from an old scar. John Smith thought he had escaped the clutches of Sterling Hospital, whether by fleeing into a certain uncertain dawn with a haunted Kate at his side, her eyes forever changed by the shadows, or by surrendering to the endless whispers, becoming one with the very walls that imprisoned him. But curses like this don't simply fade. They fester, they evolve, they hunger for more. Now a year later, or is it mere moments in the grand, fractured scheme of things, whispers from the forgotten depths pull him back into a nightmare far greater than before. Realities fracture like brittle glass, and the dead, oh, the dead, demand their long overdue closure. Welcome back, dear listeners, to the epic unravel of Soul's Insanity. Tonight, we heed the inexorable pull of the past. It had been a full year since that fateful night in Ridgefield, or at least that's what the calendar insisted. But time had lost all meaning after floor 13. In one version of my fractured memories, Kate and I had stumbled out of those cursed doors. Just the first rays of dawn pierced the fog, her hand cold in mine, her eyes hollowed out like she'd seen the abyss stare back, and it had blinked. We drove away in silence, the hospital shrinking in the rearview mirror, but the curse, it clung to us like invisible chains, whispering in our dreams, turning every shadow into potential doorway back. In another memory, darker and more insistent, I was alone, trapped in an eternal loop of screaming walls and echoing phobias, my body dissolving into the ether as I became just another ghost in the Sterling collection. Therapists in the city had labeled it severe PTSD, prescribing pills that dulled the edges but never erased the visions. My band, The Forgotten, they called it raw inspiration. Hell, we channeled it into a whole damn album. Shadows of Sterling, tracks like Echoes in the Lobby and Devil's Dozen Descent hit the charts, sold out shows across the country, crowds chanting lyrics born from my nightmares. But every strum on my bass felt like a summons, every applause a distant alarm blaring from that hilltop tune. I tried to move on, burying myself in the music, in late night jams and fleeting hookups, anything that drowned out the silence where the whispers hid. Then the dreams intensified. Not just nightmares anymore, but vivid visions that bled into waking hours. I'd bolt upright in my cramped apartment, sheets soaked in sweat, with Kate's voice echoing from the fog-shrouded corners of my mind. It's not over, John. The roots go deeper than you know. They twist through blood and bone. I'd wake with actual dirt caked into my fingernails as if I'd been clawing at graves in my sleep, unearthing secrets I wasn't ready to face. Plot holes in my own goddamn life story started to gnaw at me. Why Ridgefield, of all places? Why Kate? That anonymous voicemail that kickstarted the whole ordeal, the one that dragged me from the stage to that cursed town, I couldn't let it rest. I started digging, late nights hunched over my laptop, piecing together fragments from old news clippings and shadowy online forums. Turns out Kate hadn't just vanished into thin air. She'd been drawn there deliberately, like a moth to an infernal flame. Her family history was the key, a tangled web I should have unraveled sooner. Her great-grandfather, Warden Elias Myers, had overseen Skeleton Prison back in the late 1800s, that underground hellhole buried beneath Thurman Hospital like a forgotten cancer. Built in 1892 on land cursed by ancient legends, whispers of Native American burial grounds desecrated by greedy miners who unearthed something far worse than gold. Not mere ghosts, no, entities. Primordial things from beyond the veil, feeding on human sin and suffering. The infamous prison riot of 1905, that was no ordinary uprising. It was a cataclysm, a tear in the fabric of reality where those entities broke free, twisting in the inmates into vessels for their hunger. Warden Myers tried to contain it, sealing the breach with occult rituals and blood sacrifices, but he only patched it poorly. Sterling Hospital was erected above it as a facade, a beacon of healing to mask the abyss below. Its 13 floors designed as a metaphysical ladder, a devil's dozen descending into madness. Kate knew all this. She confided bits and pieces over the late-night coffees back in the city, but I dismissed them as family folklore. Her diary, the one I found half-charred on floor 9 during my first ordeal, it wasn't just some random scavenger's relic. It was her deliberate breadcrumb trail, pages filled with frantic notes. The blood calls me. Myers' legacy demands closure. The Nexus chooses its heirs. She went to Ridgefield thinking she could seal the roof for good, using her lineage as the key. Instead, she became bait, her essence fragmented across the warping realities, feeding the curse that now spread like a plague. And me, my so-called escape, was nothing but a cruel illusion, a temporary reprieve granted by the Nexus to lure me back, stronger, marked as its unwilling champion. The curse hadn't followed me out, I had carried it, a seed planted deep in my soul, germinating in the quiet moment. I tried to fight it, God knows I did. Holed up in that dingy apartment, my survival kit from the first trip gathered dust in the closet. The guns, knives, lighter, flashlight, all relics of a battle I thought I won. But last night, the call came again. Not through a phone this time, but a voice resonating in my skull, vibrating my bones. Return, or watch it spread beyond Ridgefield. I jerked awake to my phone buzzing with news alerts. Strange disappearances in neighboring towns. Buildings reported to warp like in fever dreams. Earthquakes with no seismic cause. The Nexus was expanding. Realities bleeding into our world. And I was the linchpin. No more running. I upgraded the kit this time. No half measures. Holy water from a back alley priest who eyed me like I was already damned. A tattered journal purportedly from Warden Myers himself, scored off a shady dark web auction, pages yellowed with age, inscribed with runes that made my skin crawl. And my bass guitar, restrung with silver-infused wire, because why the hell not? Music had always been my anchor, maybe it could be my weapon too. I hit the road in my beat-up van, storm clouds chasing me the whole way, my bandmates blowing up my phone with frantic texts and calls. Don't go back, man! Mike pleaded, his voice crackling over the speakers. The album's blowing up. We need you here. I couldn't explain the pull. the magnetic dread drawing me north. Just dig into those skeleton prison archives for me, I barked back. Old blueprints, riot reports, anything. And watch the news. If anything goes south, you might see the sign. Hours blurred into rain-slicked haze, the highway twisting like the corridors of my dreams. The town sign finally loomed through the downpour. Welcome to Ridgefield, home of Sterling Hospital. But something was off, profoundly wrong. The letters on the sign shimmered, rearranging briefly into return to the dam before snapping back. The streets were distorted, houses leaning at impossible angles, shadows stretching too long, even in the storm's gloom. Streetlights flickered with an unnatural blue hue, casting glimpses of figures that vanished when I blinked. I pulled into the same decrepit motel from before, the neon vacancy sign buzzing like angry hornets. The clerk behind the counter, gaunt with eyes that seemed to glitch like bad video feed, grinned too widely, his teeth unnaturally sharp in the dim light. Back for more, Mr. Smith? The hospital's been expectant. His voice echoed slightly, as if coming from underwater. I ignored the chill racing down my spine. I grabbed my key and barricaded myself in the room. Moldy walls, sagging bed, familiar horrors. But as I unpacked, sketching a rough plan on the back of an old gig flyer, the mirror above the sink fogged up on its own, a finger tracing words from the inside. Deeper. No time for doubt. I slung my bag over my shoulder, base case in hand like a talisman, crept out into the night. The hill loomed ahead, Sterling Hospital perched atop it like a crown of thorns, its silhouette pulsing against the lightning-streaked sky, windows glowing with an inner malevolence. The gates, rusted and chained last time, creaked open on their own accord as I approached, inviting me with a groan that sounded almost human. No blaring alarms this round, just a soft, insidious whisper carried on the wind. We've been waiting, John. All of us. I slipped through the entrance, the heavy door thudding shut behind me with finality, flashlight beams slicing through the thick dust, illuminating the lobby in stark relief. The secretary's desk sagged even more now. Paper scattered like fallen leaves, yellowed and brittle. The air was heavier, laced with metallic tang of old blood and something fouler. Decay mixed with ozone, like a storm brewing inside. My hand brushed the wall and I felt it. A pulse, a rhythmic and alive, as if the building itself had a heartbeat. The map on the far wall, once a simple floor plan, had transformed. Floors now etched with glowing runes that shifted when I wasn't looking directly. And at the bottom, a new addition, a spiraling symbol leading downward to the depths. Skeleton prison. My stomach twisted. This was confirmation of the horrors below. Then the footsteps. Not mine. Slow, deliberate, with a faint drag, like chains trailing. I froze, knife drawn from my belt, beam swinging wildly. And there she was, Kate, or something wearing her face like an ill-fitting mask. Her form flickered, eyes blurring into transparency, eyes reflecting not the flashlight but voids of swirling darkness. "John," she purred, her voice a chorus from a dozen throats, layered and discordant, sending shivers through me. "You come home. Let's go deeper this time. The Nexus hungers for completion." I backed away slowly, heart thundering in my ears like a drum solo gone wrong. "Kate, is it really you? Or another trick?" My voice cracked, betraying the fear I'd buried. She stepped closer, her smile stretching unnaturally, revealing glimpses of skeletal teeth beneath. "Does it matter? The bloodline called. Warden Myers unleashed it, but we can control it. Join me and rewrite the ending." The floor beneath me buckled suddenly, reality rippling like disturbed water in a pond, cracks spreading outward in fractal patterns. I lost my footing, tumbled through a lower corridor. Floor 1, but utterly warped now. Mirrors lined the walls, endless reflections staring back. Versions of me, alternate Johns. One bloodied and screaming, another ghostly and translucent. A third, smiling with Kate's void eyes, mocking my every move. The Nexus was fully awake, bleeding worlds into one another. No mere ghosts haunted these halls anymore. This was a war across realities. I scrambled to my feet, knife slashing wildly at the nearest mirrored Kate apparition. Glass shattered in a cascade of shards, but she reformed from the fragments, laughing, a sound like breaking bones mixed with wind chimes. "Not that easy, lover. The curse evolves." I bolted for the stairs, mind racing, up to familiar terrors or down to the unknown depths. The glowing map fragment in my pocket hummed, pointing downward. To close this hole once and for all, I had to confront the root, the prison where it all began. But as the walls constricted around me, my old claustrophobia resurfacing like a vice squeezing my chest. I knew this wasn't just about survival anymore. It was redemption. For Kate, for the lost souls of Ridgefield, for the fractured pieces of myself I'd left behind. Desperation fueled me. I dialed Mike again, signal flickering like the lights overhead. "John, you okay? The line's warping." His voice cut in and out. "Archives. Found something. Blueprints show hidden tunnels under the prison. Wards against entities. And news is blowing up. Quakes in the city. Buildings shifting. It's spreading." I cursed under my breath. "Send everything you have. Photos, scans, whatever. And Mike, if I don't make it, burn the album. Don't let it summon more." Hung up as the first tangible ghost materialized. A prisoner from the riot area. Emaciated form draped in rattling chains. Eyes hollow voids that sucked in the light. It lunged, spectral hands clawing at my throat, whispering forgotten truth. "The curse didn't follow you out, John. You were the vessel. You carried it like a plague." I dodged, slashing with silver-strung bass like an improvised axe, the strings humming with a resonant tone that seemed to disrupt its form, making it flicker. "Back off," I growled, pressing forward. Deeper the floors blended, corridors elongating into impossible lengths, doors appearing and vanishing. I stumbled upon a concealed alcove marked Warden's Quarters, a rusted plaque half obscured by vines that pulsed like veins. Pushing inside, the air grew colder, frost forming on my breath, artifacts scattered, faded photographs of the 1905 riot, but twisted in this reality, figures elongated with too many limbs, faces melting into screens. Kate's complete diary lay open on a dusty table, pages fluttering as if breathed upon. The Nexus offers 4 paths, branching from every choice. Mercy leads to fragile peace, vengeance to endless war, denial to loops of torment, truth to sacrifice. Only one seals the rift, but at what cost? 4 endings. My decision would shape not just my fate, but worlds. But as the ground trembled anew, fissures opened up to reveal glimpses of the prison below, dark caverns echoing with ancient howls. I realized I wasn't alone in this fight. Footsteps echoed from behind, not hostile this time. Allies emerging from the shadows, or more deceptive tricks of the nexus. The pull was unbreakable, a gravitational force dragging me onward. Ridgefield had claimed me again, body and soul. You never truly questioned why I ventured here, John. My blood built this prison from the ground up. Warden Myers, my direct ancestor, he didn't just oversee the riot, he orchestrated the sealing, but his rituals were flawed, tainted by his own sins. The entities feed on choices, forking realities from every human failing, every unresolved regret. Your salvation of me was merely one fragile thread in the web. Now the entire weave unravels, spilling into your world. Join me in the depths, or witness it all consume everything you hold dear. I stood there, diary in hand, the weight of generations pressing down. If you're really Kate, prove it. Tell me something only we know. The form shimmered, the flicker of a real her breaking through. That night in the city, under the ridge light, you played me a melody on your bass, the one about lost roads. It was our song. My resolve cracked, but I steeled it. This was the Nexus testing me. I turned towards the fissure, the pull intensifying. Redemption awaited below, but so did chaos, and so did oblivion. As I descended the makeshift stairs carving into earth, the air growing thicker with the stench of centuries-old despair, I whispered to myself, "For you, Kate, for all of us." Ah, poor John. The reluctant hero stumbles back onto the stage. But oh, how the script has swollen into a grand symphony of impending doom. Allies whisper from the fringes, horrors claw from the depths, and the Nexus hungers for his every choice. What fractured fates await in the warped halls below? What betrayals and revelations lurk in the shadows of Skeleton Prison? And which of the four paths will he tread when the entities demand their toll? Tune in next time for the harrowing descent, if your fragile sanity can endure the echoes of the dance.
In the shadow of the hill, where the silence screams, Ridgefield lies, lost in forgotten dreams. Sterling Hospital, its walls of pain and stone, calls you back where the damned are never alone. And turn to Ridgefield, where the echoes scream, secrets in the void, where the cursed souls weep. 13 floors reborn here, the Nexus too. the fractured night. Kate's shadow lingers in the fading light. The prison below, its chains unbound. Ridgefield awakens, no escape to be found. Return to Ridgefield, where the echoes scream. Secrets in the void, where the cursed souls weep. 13 floors reborn, hear the nexus tune. In Sterling's depths you'll seal your doom. Reality's war, the past begins to bleed. Every choice you make sows the fatal seed. Will you break the curse or join the endless dread? Ridgefield's echoes live in the blood unshed.
Return.